Hi everyone, here we're back again. Today I want to talk about understanding behavior to make changes faster. What I've seen out there is that a lot of people, even big gurus, are talking about how to make changes in your life, but unfortunately they have no idea how the mind works, why behaviors are there, and what is the idea of that behavior in the first place. So if I want to change something that I'm doing without understanding why it's there in the first place, normally I'm not going to be able to, I'm going to struggle and I'm not going to be able to get the results that I want. And that is what I want to share today. And I've been sharing for a long time in most of the trainings that I'm offering. So welcome back again. My name is Tommy Walker, the Mind Engineer. Welcome to the Rapid Subconscious Reprogramming community. If you're watching live, hashtag live in social media, that will be great. If you're watching replay, hashtag replay. Remember, when you engage with this, when you comment, more people get to see it. So hey Romana, hey Suzanne, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. So let's get going on this, that it's a very important topic, right? And the example that I always give is, how am I supposed to fix a car if I don't know the mechanics behind a motor? It's going to be impossible for me to fix a car. I have no idea about the motor of a car. The same things happen with the mind. A lot of people out there want people to think that the mind is this complex thing, complicated thing, but it's much more basic. They call it complicated because they don't understand. It's like talking to a mechanic and trying to get a mechanic to say, oh yeah, the motor of a car is very difficult to understand. If a mechanic has studied it and has practiced on it and is able to have the experience to fix things, he's not going to say that the motor is a really complicated thing. For him, the more experience they have, the easier it is how to understand a motor and to make changes in a car, right? So the same thing happens with the mind. I've been studying the mind for 14 years, and the more I study, the more I practice on it, I realize that it's much more basic than what most people say out there. So I want to prove you today what I'm saying so that I can help you people start making changes. As I always say, when people practice, affirmations, when people practice, positivity, when they practice gratitude the wrong way, let's put it that way, it's not going to bring changes to them. And that's what I see over and over again. If I feel like crap and I start trying to push positivity in, it's not going to remove the crap. It's just going to bury it deeper. It might feel that it went away, but it didn't really go away. It is still there, waiting for the next. Sorry, back again. I had a technical issue. Here we go. So I hope everybody's there. You're being able to listen. I hope this is still going up on Facebook. So perfect. Let's keep going. Sorry about that. My internet just disconnected. So as I was saying, whenever we want to make changes, we need to understand. So let's talk today about behaviors. Normally, when we have negative behaviors, most people see it and treat them as negative. What do I mean with that? When people overeat, they beat themselves up because they're overeating. When people smoke, they beat themselves up because they're smoking. When people, do alcohol, drugs, whenever they are mean to somebody else, right? They judge themselves, they criticize that behavior that they're having. So they're being mean with that part of them that acted that way. But we need to understand, again, going back to the two main human drivers, we have human drivers. One, seeking for love. The best example is people pleasing, perfectionism. Those two are going to get somehow, and it might not happen, but it makes me think that I'm going to receive the love and acceptance I want. If I please others, they might recognize me, love me, and accept me. And I went into that for many years of my life, people pleasing. Perfectionism. If I do it perfect, people are going to recognize me. So seeking for love. And then numbing the pain out of the lack of love and acceptance, numbing the pain. So when I feel pain, I might eat to numb the negative emotions. I might, go out there and go dancing, go to the gym, do something else to try to numb the pain, keep myself busy. But then going to the gym could be another way of receiving love, because if I have the perfect body, quote unquote perfectionism, if I have a good body, I might feel loved and accepted. So then we start finding things that might, in a way, combine. But those are the two main human drivers. Why human? Because then we have spirit. From spirit, we don't need anything. We have everything. We are everything. That from the human side, we're seeking for love, or we're numbing the pain out of the lack of love and acceptance. So if I start treating my behaviors from a place of punishment, rejection, judgment, criticism, I'm adding more stress to the aspect of me that is creating that behavior in an attempt to receive love or to numb the pain out of the lack of love and acceptance. So imagine that when I was a kid, my parents did the best they could, but they didn't make me feel loved all the time. So I don't feel loved. So maybe I started eating to try to numb the pain of the lack of love. Now I'm a grown-up and I keep eating. Why do I keep eating? Because I'm numbing the pain. So now I start rejecting, judging, and criticizing the part of me that created that behavior to try not to feel so much pain. So when I'm judging and criticizing the part of me that is trying to numb the pain, it's going to create more pain. More pain means that I'm going to either eat more, right? Or if the pain is too big, I might swap that for something else. So then I start throwing myself into the gym every day, right? To try to, again, numb the pain inside of me. I didn't solve the problem. Yes, it's better to go to the gym than to eat all day. Don't get me wrong. It's not okay. It's not good for the body to have overweight. Of course, I hear you. But going to the gym from a place of numbing the pain still is not good. Seriously. So you change one problem for another. So the idea is to really understand why that behavior was created in the first place. And something, I had a conversation today with a person that was interested in rapid subconscious reprogramming. He wanted to work one-on-one with me. He was asking, but Tommy, many times I'm doing, I read my book, I read your book, I've been following your trainings. Many times I ask these questions that you're teaching and I don't find the answers. And I told him, the problem is that we need to enter into the pain. We need to come from a loving and learning place. And most people come into those behaviors from a place of denial, rejection, judgment, or criticism. If I come into the mind with that intention of, I want to change this behavior, I don't like it anymore, the behavior or the aspect of me that created that behavior is not going to really open up to tell me what's going on. And look, I'm going to give you a stupid example. If you were working with somebody or with a friend of yours, let's put a friend of yours, right? You go to a friend of yours and you tell them your deepest fears, your deepest problems, and they dismiss them. They tell you don't feel like that. They deny it. They criticize and judge you because you're feeling that way. Would you feel safe to come back and open up to that person again? Yes or no? Type it in the chat. If a friend of yours treats you like that, would you feel safe? Would you feel okay to come back to that person and open up again next time? Yes or no? Type it in the chat. Thank you, Suzanne. No. So if you wouldn't feel safe to open up to a person that is judging you and criticizing you, as it's on the outside, why wouldn't that be on the inside too? If I'm judging and criticizing myself for a behavior, will you be able to open up to understand and letting that part of you show you why that behavior is there? It's not going to happen, people. You need to understand this. Again, if you don't understand the mind, if you don't understand this simple concept, no wonders why people are not able to open their mind. And then they say, no, the mind is very complicated. Oh, I don't remember. The past is gone. No, the past is being repressed for most people. You know how many people I work with that they tell me, oh, I don't remember my past. And as they put themselves in this loving and learning position and they create a safe environment for themselves, as I help them through that, the mind starts opening up. I eat, because imagine an example that I've heard this before. I eat because I want to feel loved and accepted. I eat because I want to be big, because if I'm big, I'm going to be able to protect myself. I eat because, I feel anxiety and it's the only way to not feel so much anxiety. And then as we go deeper, I've heard people say, I eat because I feel inadequate. I eat because I don't feel good enough. I eat because I feel worthless. But the mind is not going to reveal that, just like that. Because again, if you're around a friend that that you tell them, what I just realized, Suzanne, right? Or whatever, that's what, Mary, I realized, Mary, that I'm eating because I feel worthless. And then suddenly you say, Tommy, that is nonsense. That is stupid. Stop doing that. I'm not going to feel okay. I'm not going to feel safe. So I'm going to shut down. That is what the mind does for most people. The mind tends to shut down in an attempt to protect you. And the behaviors that you're classifying as negative, they're just protective mechanisms. They're protecting you from deeper pain. So instead of judging your behaviors, I invite you to start loving and accepting the part of you that created that behavior. Because we're able to start practicing love and acceptance of the part of you that created that behavior, that part of you is going to feel that love and acceptance. And remember, as I said at the beginning, the part of you that creating in me the people-pleasing, it created the people-pleasing because it didn't feel loved and accepted. So now suddenly, when I start loving and accepting the part of me that is people-pleasing to try to feel loved and accepted, I'm giving that part of me what it needed in the first place. I'm giving love and acceptance to the part of me that was lacking that. So now it needs less of the people-pleasing because now it feels loved and accepted. So again, people create behaviors out of seeking for love and acceptance or numbing the pain of the lack of love and acceptance. So judging myself, criticizing, rejecting my behaviors is adding more to the problem. It's not solving it. Very few percentage of people out there are able to inflict so much pain in themselves that in itself makes them start changing. So listen to that again. They inflict so much pain in themselves that is the driver. Would you like to go through your life needing to exert so much pain in yourself to make changes? Type a yes or no in the chat, please. Would you think that is the best way to go in your life, to inflict so much fear or so much pain to make changes? Welcome to personal development, people. This is the old school of personal development. We come from a world of authoritarian world. People of my age, I'm 44 years old, and a little bit younger, we have gone through a lot of authoritarianism. That authoritarianism, unfortunately, has created this personal development that is directed by pain and fear. Cause yourself so much pain in your mind, thinking that what you're doing is so wrong, cause so much pain or so much fear that you now change. But you know what? That is old school. The future personal development that is already here and has been around for a while, but not a lot of people know about, is understanding the mind and loving and accepting, not judging or criticizing or rejecting your behaviors. Loving and accepting that there's a part of you behind that behavior that is seeking for your higher good. The problem is that although it's seeking for a higher good, it's protecting you, it's causing other, even bigger problems, because eating can bring to heart problems, can create a stroke, can create, diabetes, can create many things, obesity, and many other things that are related to that. So there is a downside, but again, that part of you that, and listen to this a second, and this is mind-blowing, people. Dying, getting sick, is less scary to a lot of people than not receiving love or not feeling loved. It is much scary and worse for most people not to feel loved or to feel the pain of the lack of love than to get sick or die. Seriously, think about that for a second. How many people do you know that should be taking care of their health and they're not doing it? They're overeating, they're smoking, and they know it's bad for them. Even people, that end up in the hospital with a heart attack, and they go out there and start eating more junk food. How could that be? If you think about it, how could that be? Because again, the numbing of the lack of love is more important than getting sick or dying. Does this make sense? Type a yes or a no in the chat if it makes sense. That is scary. Thank you, Suzanne. I'll go back to your question later if you don't mind, Suzanne, what you mentioned there, okay? So again, remember this, human behaviors, seeking for love or numbing the pain out of the lack of love. If I don't feel loved, right, I'm going to need to numb the pain of the lack of love. So I start eating. Now I realize that I could die or get sick from eating. But listen to this. Connecting with the pain of the lack of love is scarier than getting sick or dying. For most people, it's more scary to connect with the pain of the lack of love than the possibility of getting sick or dying. That's why so many people that are having different health problems keep going down that road. Others, the fear of dying, the fear of getting sick and getting worse is so big that they now start taking care of themselves. Few, but some people that get sick and are able to survive then get so scared that now they start taking care of themselves. But they do it from, again, fear. This is what I want you to understand, people. Going through life from pain or fear or pain or pleasure is not the right way to go. This is one of the main things that Tony Robbins teaches, pain or pleasure. Seek things from pleasure or seek for things from pain. Seek for change from pain. Cause yourself so much pain that you want to change. That is Tony Robbins, people. A lot of what he teaches is based on that. Pain or pleasure. I want to invite you to a new paradigm. The future of personal development is self-love. If I love myself, I'm going to do what's best for me, not from fear and not from pleasure. Just because I love myself, I'm going to do it. Does this make sense? Yes or no? Romana, I'm seeing what you're writing. Don't worry. We'll address that in a little bit. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. So the idea is to start changing this paradigm of rejecting behaviors, judging behaviors, criticizing behaviors. Instead, understand that behavior is there for a reason and it's trying to protect you, even if it has very bad consequences. There's a part of you that for that part is more important to seek for love or numb the pain out of the lack of love than to change the behavior. Even the bad consequences that that behavior could bring. Again, doing drugs, it can destroy your neurons. It can destroy your body. It can kill you. They can get into an overdose and get killed. But why do they do it? Because the pain of the lack of love is higher than the pain of dying. In their mind, it is more scary to connect with the pain of the lack of love than to die. And most people that do drugs or alcohol, they are told that if they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to die. But they keep doing it. So instead of judging those people that are drug addicts, people that are struggling with alcoholism, instead of judging them, they need to feel loved and accepted. We're not loving and accepting the behavior. We're not okay with the behavior. Don't get me wrong. We're just loving and accepting the aspect of them that is using that behavior to protect themselves. Yes or no? Is that making sense? Please type it in the chat. Yes or no, if that is making sense, people. This is very important. If we're able to start making more sense about behavior, where it's coming from, what is trying to protect me from, now I can start making more changes. But the more I judge myself, I criticize, I reject myself, the more chances is that I'm not going to be able to make changes. I'm feeding the negative behavior, so it brings more of it. Until I don't feel more pain from something else, it's going to be very difficult to change. But neither are good. Continuing with that behavior is not good. Scaring yourself so much or creating so much pain to want to change is not good either. That is old school, old personal development. That is still today going on. Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, many big names out there are still based on these techniques that are old, that come from authoritarianism. We need to start questioning what we have been taught for so long, because it's not working, people. If you really look, it is not working. These people, Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, all of these have been around for 40, 30 years. Yes, it's so authoritarian. Exactly, Suzanne. It's so authoritarian that it resonated with some people, with a few. Why? Because that's how we were raised. David Goggins, it's not this other guy, I don't remember his name, right? That it's all about pushing your body to the limits, that he has done amazing things. But by pushing the body to extremes, that is not loving. It doesn't mean that you cannot push your body to more. Don't get me wrong. But from the place that he's doing it from a place of authoritarianism, from a lack of love. That is not love. I don't care what others have to say. That is not love, people. I'm sorry, but that is not love. We got to be very careful, start being able to separate when it comes from love and when it comes from authoritarian. The more you're able to connect with love, the further you're going to go in life. The more you're going to be able to change, because as I said in the first place, if you're struggling with something, and you bring this to a friend of yours, and that friend of yours starts rejecting you, making fun of you, calling you names, judging you because of what you're doing, there are more chances you're going to close up with that friend of yours, and you're not going to change. But if you feel safe, if you feel loved, if you feel accepted, no matter what you do, that is going to bring you to a position where it's going to make it easier to check what you're doing, see if it's the best thing for you, or maybe if you can change that and do something that maybe could have more impact in your life. I hope that is making sense, people, because we have been brainwashed, right? Even today, with all this personal development going on, and it's old school. It comes from an era of authoritarian, upbringing, and that is old school. The future of personal development, and I can guarantee that I've seen it in all these 14 years of inner work and working with people. It is about loving and accepting the behaviors, the aspect of you behind the behavior, not the behavior in itself, right? But understanding that behavior is trying to protect you. So when you're able to put yourself in that mindset, the mind opens up to learn, to question, to check for validity in what you're doing, and be open for information to come in to invite that aspect of you to do something different. So again, if I don't feel love and accepted, I start eating to try to numb the pain. As I start practicing love and acceptance, I'm not going to need food. I'm not going to need anything. I can share the love in others. I can be with another person, but I don't need that person. I don't need my kids' love. I don't need my partner's love. I don't need the recognition from my friends, from my family, from my boss. I am that I am. And from there, I do stuff if I want to. I'm able to reduce expectations, be okay with whatever comes up. And I'm not saying that I have everything figured out, but I've been practicing this for the last 14 years, and my life has changed immensely. As I mentioned, stuck, depressed, with a lot of anxiety, health problems, to suddenly being able to overcome those health problems, living a much more happier life, being in the place of my dreams. It has changed by really being able to come from a different place. I tried affirmations, I tried positivity, I tried fear to make changes, I tried pain and pleasure to make changes. I was watching the other day something in Shark Tank, a guy that brought up an opportunity to the shark that is an investment. It was a watch that each time you did something wrong, it would give you a electric shock. Yeah, it works. It works, of course. It makes changes. Whenever you feel shock, right? You did something wrong, you shock yourself, the mind starts associating pain, right? I don't want that. So it stops doing that. But it's out of pain again. That is not self-love. And again, why am I doing that? Instead of just changing that behavior, why am I procrastinating? Why am I eating? Why am I smoking? Why am I doing weed? Why am I drinking? Why am I getting so angry with my kids? Why am I getting so angry with my partner? Why? Oh, I'm such a bad person because I get angry with my partner. No, you're not a bad person. You're getting angry to your partner because of something. I'm not saying it's okay to keep being bad with your partner, but instead understand the why. Why am I screaming at my partner when this happens? Many years ago, I would get really triggered when somebody slammed the door at my house, whether it was my wife, mostly when it was the kids. It would really get me very, very uneasy, very angry. And I didn't know why. I would just scream, "Don't slam the doors." I would get really angry. I started reflecting and started asking myself, why do I feel so angry when that happens? Why do I feel so uneasy, so bad when that happens? And it reminded me when I was a kid and my dad would slam doors. He would get angry and slam a door. And it would make me feel really uneasy because it reminded me of the situation of my dad getting very upset and then slamming a door. So it brought back that memory. And I wasn't aware of it. It was in my subconscious mind. So I brought it to the conscious mind. I dealt with it. I healed it. I transformed it. And now if a door is slammed, I don't get upset. I just might say, "Hey, is everything okay? Let's try not to slam the door again." Before, I would just lose it. I would just lose it to a scream, right? "Don't slam a door." That was it. But it would, inside of me, I felt really, really bad. So it's important to understand, again, if I would have judged myself about screaming to the family because, "Hey, don't slam a door." If I would have judged and criticized that behavior, I would have never done the connection that it made me feel like I felt as a little kid. And I wouldn't have the opportunity to heal that part of that aspect of me from my past. Does that make sense? Yes or no? One more time in the chat, please. Share with me. Get that in a little bit of engagement there. Is this making sense? Yes, thank you. Yes, perfect. So we need to learn how to love and accept the part of us behind the behavior. If you want to make changes faster, love and accept the part of you that is having that behavior. Understand why that behavior is there. What is it trying to protect you from? And then build from there. But the first most important step, people, is to love and accept. Then understand. If you're able to start doing that, you're able to start making changes. And this is what people experience with rapid subconscious reprogramming. It is, I believe, the new personal development that has been around for a while, but it's, in the background, very few people know about this. And they keep trying positivity, affirmations, gratitude, pain and pleasure to make changes. No, people, no more of that. It's not working for most people. If it's not working for you, Don't keep trying the same thing if it's not working, people. Like Einstein said, if I keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, that's craziness. Seriously, people, think about that for a little bit, because Tony Robbins teaches that. It doesn't mean that it's okay. Seriously, I don't care if he's a million, he has impacted the lives of millions. It's old school. For many years, we wouldn't use helmets, or we would while riding our bike or riding a motorcycle, or wouldn't use seatbelts in cars. That doesn't mean it was the right way to go. Seriously, think about those things that we have realized that we were doing wrong. This is the same thing. I've seen much more changes in people through love and acceptance than through pain and desire, pain and pleasure. No, that is old school, is not working for most people. So if it's not working for you, you are one of the high percentage of people out there that it's not going to work. It's not about pain and pleasure. It's not about fear. It's about love and acceptance. This is the new thing that is coming into this world to make a change in this world. Because there have been studies, this is scientifically proven, studies in jails asking the people in there, how was their childhood? They all, in a way or another, didn't feel loved and accepted. They were beaten up. They had alcoholic parents. They were exposed to a lot of violence. And that became the norm and then they went out there and executed that violence to others, and that's why they ended up in jail. A lack of love and acceptance. So pain or pleasure is old school, and we should throw it away and start changing into this new world that's coming with love and acceptance. Bring and practice that, and I promise you, you're going to start feeling some changes. Guaranteed. But it has to be practiced from true love and acceptance. Just because Tommy said love and acceptance, right? Like, oh, love and acceptance. That doesn't mean people are practicing that. It's true love, connecting with true love, that's going to bring a change. And I used to, when I was a kid, people, I used to listen to a guy in the train when I went back and forth to school, that he would play the bandoneon, I don't remember how you call it, right? He would play like the small piano with air, right? And he would say, only love will save the world. And back then we would laugh at him because it sounded so ambiguous, like only love is going to save the world. Only love is going to save the world. Now I get it, people. Many years later, I got what he meant, truly what he meant. Only love is going to change this world. Only love is going to change your so-called negative behaviors. Only love. And this is what I want to share with the world. And that's what I'm doing, these free calls, these free trainings. I'm offering a lot of my time because I truly want to share a different way to start making changes. So I hope it makes sense. I hope you enjoy this. I enjoy a lot sharing these things and showing people another way. Behaviors are the byproduct of something deeper that needs, that aspect of us needs love and acceptance. Thank you, accordion. Yes, I will. I'll share that. I don't know the name exactly in English. Sorry, I don't remember now. So Suzanne, thank you, people, for watching on social media. Again, if you're watching there, please engage, share, like this. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel so you can get more information and you can follow me and get more insight and tools to help you start making changes in your life. Thank you very much again. This is going to be, thank you very much, and I'll see you around. Have a great holiday season that is coming up. So thank you very much, people. Take care. Bye.